Hey YouTube, welcome back. What's going on? This channel is called There Has to Be Something More. I am your humble host, Scott Moore. We are right here in the mountains of Matagalpa, Nicaragua. And it was a beautiful day, so I thought I'd come sit out on the front porch. The dogs were out here, so I'd take just a couple minutes. Couple things today. Obviously one of my favorite things for many years has been either Travel Channel on TV or watching a million adventure, travel, retirement, YouTube kind of videos. So I was watching one this morning, and one of the things that they mentioned was they said, we're not budget travelers. And I kind of thought about that for a long time, and I guess there's a lot of different types of budget travelers. So, first thing that comes to mind is like the backpackers, younger people that are kind of cruising around with their backpack and a couple dollars in it. There's also a lot of great YouTubers out there that just decided many years ago they were going to travel the world and they were going to do it on a shoestring. And, that's cool too. One of the guys I've watched for a long time has been to over 100 countries. One's been to, I think, 70. So a lot of fun to watch those guys. And they all have different budget ranges, but it brought to mind a few things. So first thing is, this channel was never designed to make money. I don't know that it ever will make a dollar. If it doesn't, that's okay. This YouTube channel was created for a couple reasons. One, we wanted to make like a video scrapbook so that our kids, we have 4 daughters and 10 grandkids, our kids, our grandkids, maybe even our great grandkids can come on, watch our adventures, maybe even get to know us a little better. But something that they could all watch as we kind of travel from Mexico all the way down to Argentina and a lot of interesting places in between. And eventually we'll pick our favorite, but that could be many years down the road. So that was the first reason. Of course, the other reason was, just to kind of document our search for our favorite retirement city. And we may stop after Argentina, or, Lydia still wants to go back. We've been to Thailand a couple times. She still would like to go back. So we may take 2 or 3 years and run around Southeast Asia and do Philippines, Vietnam, Malaysia, a lot of just run around all over, 3 months here, 6 months here, all over Southeast Asia as well. We'll just have to see. Once we get down to Argentina, are we tired of the travel and ready to settle down or not? Again, if we make money on this YouTube channel, and we greatly appreciate all of you, there's already way more subscribers than I ever imagined. So that's kind of interesting, and we really appreciate you. If you haven't subscribed, by the way, please hit the like, the thumbs up, and the subscribe button so you can see when new videos come out. We also, as far as budget goes, Lydia and I, our plan had always been, and I've been, doing the planning and the research for 10, 12 years. It was just a passion that I had. And so our plan was always to bail out when I turned 62. But I got to 60, and there was a couple of economic things that kind of nudged us to go ahead and leave early. One, we were living in the Greenville, South Carolina area, and housing prices kept going up and up and up and up. We had downsized several times, and we had a big house with a pool in Naples, Florida, when the girls were all living at home. We had a fairly big house up in Winston-Salem for a long time, but it was a little smaller than Naples, and then a very small one when we got to the Greenville area. We knew we'd only be there 5, 6, 7 years at the most, so we figured we'll be in and out of here quick. And so we got a little place, we fixed it up a little bit, but the prices kept going up and up and up. And at 60, we started the conversation of, gee, we actually could bail out a little early, maybe a year and a half early, just since we're going to make way more money on this little tiny house than we thought we would. We'll just take a piece of that and live on that for a year and a half until Social Security starts. Also, my brother, being in the mortgage business for 35 years or so, as interest rates kept going up, he kept telling me, if interest rates keep going up, and I don't know the future, but you're going to all of a sudden start losing buyers that are able to buy your house. And it's going to make it more difficult, and you just may not be as easy, because people were snapping up houses as fast as as soon as you put it on the market, that day they'd get 10, 12 offers. So he said, and he was right, that's exactly what happened. We got out just in time. The value of our house now is a little bit lower than when we sold it. So we really feel fortunate, but it did enable us to bail out at 55 and 60. So I had my birthday back in a couple weeks ago. So I am now 61, which, there's not a lot great about getting old, but one of the things is I am getting closer to my first Social Security check, which will be in about a year. But when we left, we had about, I think, 17 months to fund. We were going to use part of the house money and just fund our first year and a half over here. But Lydia was always saying things like, when I said, because she was really ready to go, but I'd say, "You sure you want to go?" And she'd say, "I want to go, and if we have to live like poor people, we'll go over there and live like poor people." And I said, "Okay, well, we'll try not to go live like poor people," but she was ready. And if you've probably seen the house tour video, we've got a very nice little 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It's too big for the two of us, but it's a great location. I mean, we are like 5 or 6 minute walk to the downtown area. We've got a great view, as you can see behind me, which is really, really nice at night. So we sit out here and enjoy the view out here of the city all lit up. But it's not living like poor people. We're not living in the Ritz-Carlton. To me, it's like what I remember as a kid. My grandparents lived in Ocala, Florida, and they always had a lake house at this lake about 30 minutes away called Lake Weir. And so during the summers, we would always go down there. They were very modest little houses, but we'd pack up and go down there for the weekends. A lot of people in Ocala did that, so we knew a lot of the people that were all around that area. And it was just very casual, shorts and flip-flops, and everybody knew each other, and just kind of walking around, enjoying being outside, and kids were all swimming in the lakes and everything. But that's kind of what it's like around here. Although Matagalpa is a cooler area of Nicaragua, it's still hot. Like today, it's 83, 84 for the high today. It is starting to cool off. In a few days, it looks like it's finally going to get down to the normal range, which is about 80 degrees for the high and mid 60s for the low. But right now the low is like 69, 70. But very casual here, just a lot because of the weather. So as you can hear people walking by and talking. People are out and about. They don't just it's not like in the States where everybody's sitting at home with the TV on. People are just kind of out and about, even if they're standing on the corner just chit-chatting with neighbors. Everybody's kind of out and about. So Social Security, we kind of mentioned that the average Social Security check right now is about a little over $1,500. Mine's going to be a little bit larger than that. Mine will be a little over $2,000. That will actually pay for every place we will ever go between Mexico and Argentina. Now, you do have to factor in negotiating. The longer you can negotiate an apartment, if you're going to get a 6 months or a year lease, that's obviously going to be cheaper every month than if you get a 2-week or a 1-month deal. That's going to be more expensive. But a couple $1,000 a month, that pays for. The only exception that I can think of might be if we got a fancy neighborhood in Mexico City, which we definitely want to go visit. Could bump us up a little over $2,000 a month. But again, that's just my Social Security check. 5 years later, Lydia starts getting hers, and then most of that will go into savings, I think, because that's just not our lifestyle. But just with my Social Security check, 99% of the places that we're going to go, $2,000 a month covers all of our bills, and that's even in Buenos Aires, which is very European, big, beautiful city. if we're in Medellin, Colombia, if we're in Arequipa, Peru, all these places, just my Social Security check covers everything. And we'll live very comfortably on that. So when you start thinking about budget travel, you just really don't need that much. Now, the financial investment retirement planner in me goes to another huge thing for us, which was, okay, you're putting away money in your 401k, your 403b, your IRA accounts all the time for decades, and then eventually, you come to a choice when you're retiring. So, if we would have stayed in the States, I would have had to work till 67. So I would have been 67 when we retired. If we stayed in the States, which I never, ever, ever had wanted to do, I thought that'd be real super boring. I've been all over the US. I've already seen what I wanted to see. But I'd be 67, and it's so expensive to live there that we would immediately start pulling money out of the retirement account. So we wouldn't be waiting to take these required minimum distributions, which is just a way of the government saying, you put money away pre-tax, before taxes, you never paid taxes on this money. At a certain age, you have to start taking the money out and paying the taxes on it. Well, that for a long time, that age was 70 and a half. So I would have gone from 67 to 70 and a half. Then even if I wasn't pulling money out already, I would have had to at that point. But we would have had to start pulling it out right away. That 70 and a half did turn to 72, and now Congress has passed something called the Secure Act 2.0, which makes it even longer, that if you don't need to take the money out, you can sit there and let that money compound and grow year after year after year. So, it depends on the date that you were born, but it extends out all the way to age 75 now. So what does that mean? That means that since we're living in low-cost places, which is most of the world costs less than the U.S. I mean, there's a lot of just unbelievable, fantastic places where you can live way cheaper than the U.S. So that means that instead of 67 and having to pull money out immediately, start pulling it out of the retirement account, that I can retire at 60 and not have to pull anything out of the retirement account until 75. So what does that mean? Well, that means that I can keep letting the money grow year after year, compound year after year for let's say 15 years. Now that Congress might change that again, but at this point, 15 years. So what does 15 years do for me? Well, just using historical numbers, 15 years lets you, and it depends on your investments, but again, just using historical numbers, your money should probably double in a moderate investment account about every 10 years. That assumes that you get a return on your money of 7.2% a year. Okay, so if I retire at 60 and can let it grow till 75, even if I never put another penny in my retirement accounts, the money should double one time. It's going to double in 10 years, and it's going to give me another half double because I get 5 more years. So 60 to 75, I should get a double and a half. Okay, so a double and a half, what does that mean? So let's say for every, just to use a round number, for every $100,000 that I've saved up in a retirement account, that money can go from 100,000 in 10 years to 200, and 200, now I'm not going to get another double because I don't have 10 years, I got half, I got 5 years. So 100 to 200, and then 200 to say 300. And the numbers don't calculate out that way exactly, but just for using close crunching numbers. So that means I've let every 100,000 that I've saved grow from 100 to 300. If I've saved up a ton, I've got $1 million in the account, that means my million's going to turn into 3 million. I mean, that's big. So all of a sudden, I'm 75 years old, and my account, instead of me sitting on the front porch in the US, that money's just gotten bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. So really, that was really super important for Lydia and I. That means we can just sit there and let the money grow and grow and grow for all these years. And very, very important to us. When we get older, we'll have plenty of money in there, and we can start taking that as an income whenever we want to. If we're going to have to take the RMDs eventually, but Besides that, you know, if we have anything extra, then we can let that money just sit and grow. So are we budget travelers? I don't think so. I think Lydia and I just kind of live a, I don't know, this is just kind of the lifestyle that we like. We don't want, let me give you an example. So another video that I watched recently, there was a retired couple in Cuenca, Ecuador, beautiful city and one that we hope to visit. They were paying $750 a month for a 5,000 square foot house. If that's what you like, that's awesome, and you should go for it. It's just not something that we would do. We don't, this little 3-bedroom, 2-bath house here really is too big for us, and it's probably, I don't know, 1,500 square feet or something like that. But that just kind of shows you, I mean, you can live any kind of lifestyle you want as you're traveling. You can live very budget conscious, very minimalist. You know, we think we're kind of right there in the middle, but really don't think of ourselves as budget travelers. We just kind of spend what we spend. There's no way we could have, you know, stayed in the United States and let that money sit there and double or triple. So when you start to think about, okay, I'm getting close to retirement, I'm going to get my Social Security check, how much money would I need to live on, you know, if I go to Mexico, or if I go to Nicaragua, if I go to Ecuador, any of these great places, if I go to Argentina, you know, in a lot of these places, you know, a couple is going to live on $1,500, $2,000 a month. And then, you know, if you do have retirement savings, that money can sit there and grow and grow and grow for a long, long time. So just kind of something to think about. You are going to, if you're going to live in the United States during retirement, it is going to cost you a tremendous amount more. All these countries we're going to, we will be living on somewhere between 25 and 50% of what we were spending in the US. So just, you know, for us, it was a choice of, you know, okay, over the next, if I'm 60, over the next, I've got to work 7 more years. Then I'm a little bit older. Is my health still good? Can I still move around? Can I still go to any of these places? You know, or we can go move out and, you know, to wonderful places and travel the world. It's just most of the world doesn't cost as much as it does in the US. So just kind of giving you something to think about. That's what I was thinking about this morning when they mentioned budget traveling. Any questions that you have for us, you kind of know our cost of living here has been running about $1,100 a month. This will be probably the cheapest place that we will live in, although there's a couple places that are pretty close, like Colombia. But thank you so much for following the channel. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe. Hope that you got something out of this today. If you have any questions, I'm happy to answer it. But again, I'm your humble host, Scott Moore. There has to be something more. If you're bored, you're working, you're trying to escape the rat race, you might have found the right channel for you, and we really appreciate you joining us on our trip as we travel from Mexico to Argentina. Thank you so much, and hope you're having a great day. But remember, if you're bored, you need an adventure, there has to be something more.